learn how to paint. Hi, I'm Louise Fletcher and I help artists to find their own way with their art. And this topic of how we learn to paint is really close to my heart. It's something I've thought about a lot. Of course, it's a journey I went on myself because I certainly wasn't born knowing how to paint how I wanted to, and I had to find my own way. And now I help other artists to find their own way. And in the course of doing that, I've taken lots of courses myself, both in-person workshops and a lot of online courses. I've looked at a lot of teachers and the way they teach. I've looked at the different modes of teaching. I have some background in adult learning because I used to work in corporate training and learned a lot about how adults learn. And I've brought that into the way I teach artists, but I've also brought something else into the way I teach, which is this belief that we have to find our own way. And that what a teacher's job is to give us the tools and open the door mentally for us to go through the door and then start doing our own thing. So I believe that a lot of art courses focus on teaching you things like the rules of composition or color theory. And I think these are all important things to know. But the problem is often people learn them when they first come to art making or maybe return to art making after a long time away. And they learn all these technical things, but they don't know what to do with them because they haven't spent any time thinking about themselves and what they want to do with their art. So knowing like 12 different compositions that work from little sketches, sometimes artists will share that. Here's the 12 types of composition. I don't believe in that anyway, but here's the 12 types of composition. And from that, you as the new person painting says, yeah, but what do I do with that knowledge? I don't know where to go. There's another type of teaching, which is where the teacher shows you what they do. And I've been on these workshops. So the teacher will show you, this is how I paint. I went on one where the artist showed us how they worked outside, how they then brought that into the studio, how they then made bigger paintings from the studies they'd created in pencil. So they did some pencil drawing, then they came in and made paintings on paper in a very particular way, a very unique way to that person. And then they showed us how to do that. I came back to my studio that I remember after that course and I was frozen. I had a bunch of work in progress kind of at this stage that you see here behind me, this blue one. It's quite early stage. I had things in progress, but I didn't know what to do with them because, well, you've just shown me something completely different. And I wasn't mature enough as an artist yet to know to put that aside. So I was just completely stuck for weeks and weeks and weeks. That completely just messed me up because that's that teacher's way of working. And the problem with that is that teacher developed that way of working over many years, and it's based on his or her personal journey and preferences and tastes and personality and all sorts of things that I do not share. And so when that person shows me their way of working, it's interesting, it's entertaining. Oh, wow, that's great. But when I try to do it, it doesn't work because I haven't got that background in and that personality and those life experiences and those preferences. So I end up with, at best, a dull copy of their style and at worst, a mess. And I ended up with pretty much a mess from that course. What I think courses should do is lead you on a journey to experiment and play with materials and find your way. And so what I think you should do is find teachers who say, I will help you find yourself as an artist. And there are courses like that. There are lots of them. Yes, they might show you techniques. Yes, they might show you things about paint application in the process, but that won't be the focus. The focus will be on you finding your own way. So any course that's heavy in demos, for example, that's a course that's showing you do as I do. But you really, I think, need to be looking for courses that show you how to open up your mind and learn who you are. So I think that finding your own way with your art involves knowing who you are as a person, and lots of us don't know that. We're too busy for all of our lives pleasing other people, working on behalf of other people, supporting other people, to think about ourselves. So it requires some introspection and some interest in ourselves. It requires playing and experimenting. It requires using materials for no purpose other than to learn. So that's sometimes a hurdle for people. And it requires a mindset of trusting ourselves, that we have something worthwhile to share with other people. And lots of us don't have that. And the teachers that share this with people are the ones who set them off on a lifetime journey of exploration, creativity, joy. And of course, that's what I do in my teaching. But this isn't a commercial for me. This is more about, I think it's so important when you're looking at taking any courses, and there's lots of them now. If you're just interested in learning how artist X makes their paintings and they have a course that shows you that, go for it. That sounds great if that's what you want. But I think the problem comes when what you want is to find your own way as an artist to make work that feels like you. And the teacher is not into showing you that, or doesn't know how to show you that. It's much harder to teach a class where you help people find their own way than it is to set up a camera above your table, demo some stuff, and call it a course. And I'm not saying everybody does that. There are lots of good teachers who show you what they do, and there's a time and a place for that. But it's much more difficult to create a course and to lead adults through a learning process to get them to find their own voices. So that's why there are not as many courses that do that. So how do you know which kind of course it is, and how do you know which one's right for you? As I said, if you are interested in artist X, you think their work is fantastic and you want to know more about how it's made, then any of those courses where they demo their own style and you follow along will be excellent for that. If you want to learn how to paint and you want to learn how to express yourself, look for courses where that is the key message being given. The course outline or the promotional materials will describe what you're going to get. So look for words like experimentation, play, exploration. Look for words like find your style, be the artist you've always wanted to be, find your own way with your work. Look for descriptions that tell you that that is what you're going to get. And then, and here's very important, don't expect it to be a quick journey. So the 3-day in-person workshop where someone shows you what they do and then you go away and do it, that's super enjoyable. You'll learn a few paint application techniques and that's it. The longer online course or in-person sometimes program, often these are online because you don't happen to live near a place that runs a longer course, but the longer online programs will generally give you, like certainly in my course, you get a toolbox. I call it a toolbox, like every tool you would need to solve any problem with your paintings. But I'm giving you all that in 12 weeks. So of course it's a lot. Like I am giving you everything I know about how to paint in 12 weeks. So of course it's a lot and you're not going to be able to do it all in 12 weeks. So you have to kind of understand that if a teacher's going to give you everything that they know and everything about how to explore, that it's going to be a journey for you, that you have to do the work. So they give you the tools, then you learn how to use them. So I give you the set of chisels and I teach you how each chisel works, but then you have to practice using the chisels to make a beautiful sculpture. You're not going to be able to do it on the first day of using the chisels. That's the best analogy I could think of on the spot. So, to summarize, how do you learn to paint? I believe you learn to paint through practice, through work, and through the guidance of a good teacher who can guide you on a process of exploration. You don't need to be told how much water to put into acrylic paint. You can try putting different amounts of water into acrylic paint and see what happens. You don't need to be told what happens when you put water on soft pastels. You can just try putting some water on some soft pastel and see what happens. But sometimes you need to be given permission to try those experiments. Sometimes you need to be guided on an exploration and given exercises and assignments that help you move through the learning journey in the right way. So when I do my course, for example, I'm very careful to start at a certain point and introduce things when I feel like you're ready for them, not put it all at the beginning or not put the most complicated things here. And so when we're completely on our own, it can be overwhelming to learn because we don't know where to start. If you are learning completely on your own, here's what I suggest. Set yourself small assignments. So, for example, you set yourself this month, I am going to look at composition. I'm going to look at composition in art books. I'm going to read about composition and I'm going to do some compositional exercises. Do a Google search or look on YouTube to find some exercises. But set yourself like, this is what I'm exploring. Or this month, I'm going to experiment with colour mixing and I'm going to take all the colours I have and I'm going to do mixing experiments to see what I can find. And maybe I'm going to build a sketchbook of the colours. Or this month, I'm going to explore using acrylic mediums with acrylic paint. Whatever it is, just give yourself assignments and keep yourself on track with your experimentation. When you have a question, how do I? Instead of going online and asking someone, start doing some research. Find out by doing. Do some learning online, then do some doing and practice. That's my advice if you can't afford or don't want to take a course with someone else. If you do want to take a course, my advice is to find one that guides you on your own way. As always, if you're interested in learning from me, I have an annual course. You can sign up for the waiting list at the link below. I also have a membership where I teach on an ongoing basis, monthly, in-depth workshops. I do artist interviews. I answer member questions. And I lead the creation of content by our members who share their knowledge as well. So it's an amazing community of generous artists sharing what they know. So if you want to join that, you'll find the link for that below as well. And you get 30 days free and you don't have to pay a penny if you leave before the end of that 30 days. So what have you got to lose? Come and join us. I also have a free guide, which you can find below. Download your free Find Your Style guide. That will give you a good head start on finding your own path. I hope to see you in one of those places, and I hope this was helpful if you are thinking about learning to paint. See you soon. Bye-bye.